All right, welcome. We're a bit of a special accountability session today because I'm with one of the clients, Tim, and he did an accountability session before, and it was very popular. There was a lot of demand for some questions for Tim, so I thought I'd meet up with Tim. I actually met up with Tim in London today, and we're going to be going through Tim's story, where his backstory, how he embarked on trading, and now what his plans are for the future. So you're really going to get an insight into his story and really the reality of most traders' journeys from beginning to end. So welcome, Tim.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
It's always good. It's always a pleasure. So Tim, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your situation. Forget trading,
Yep.
just where you are in life, your backstory, and where you are before you embarked on trading.
Okay. Well, I mean, fundamentally, I'm an entrepreneur and a business owner. I've run a business now for over 10 years. Got other ventures in the pipeline as well. So I've always had this, I guess, entrepreneurial spark to do more than just a 9 till 5. But then I've always been interested in the financial markets as well. I used to invest years ago in the AIM markets, so a subset of the FTSE, and I used to phone my broker on a Monday morning, hand over a load of cash, didn't really know where it was going, and never had that control. So I decided to invest in trying to learn, the financial markets myself, really, so I could take back that control.
Yeah. So you're a business owner. So you appreciate money and
Yeah.
where it comes from, how it works, and
Yeah,
the concept of fair exchange.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
So how did you then, get onto trading? How did you stumble across that? And were there sort of any mistakes that you'd made in that process?
I mean, I think like a lot of people, I naturally went online, went onto YouTube, tried to understand a little bit more, tried to find some people that could help me, educate myself. The problem is that 95% of people on there give a false impression of trading.
Yeah.
It's this get rich quick scheme, millionaire mentality,
Yeah.
drive and earn a Lambo, by the end of week one. And it was just obvious that these people just weren't the sort. I just didn't want to entertain the thought of A, handing over money to these people, and B, investing my time in them to try and teach me something that just
Yeah.
obviously wasn't realistic. And it was funny because I stumbled across Akil and some of his videos, and naturally it brought me onto you, Jason, as well. And instantly I saw two guys that gelled and worked together, gave a realistic understanding and approach of the the Forex and financial markets. And I think that was it. I just started to invest time in YouTube videos, and then obviously onto the Tier 1 program.
Okay, so let's go back a step then. When you've come from a business, what made you want to go into trading? Is it because there was a glimmer of sort of an easier lifestyle, or?
I've got two young kids. I've been in business now for over 10 years. I don't know a lot else, to be honest. And it was something that attracted to me because I wanted to be able to learn something that A, is very difficult, a lot of people fail at, and B, I want to be able to give my kids the tools necessary for them to live a life so others can't, like others can't, really. And it wasn't a get rich quick scheme at all by any stretch of the imagination. But it was something that I wanted to invest my time into, and hopefully gives me the tools to free up my time later on as well.
Yeah.
Transition out of my business and become a trader, and help other people with that process.
Absolutely, yeah. That's very, very similar to my motivation as well.
Yeah.
Just to be able to have more free time to then really, really focus on, helping other people and spending time with your kids, your loved ones. There was actually a time when I was in a job and there was a guy at work, and he'd found out that his dad was dying,
Right.
right? And he had like 2 months to live. So he was in a bad way. And he came in one day and he looked terrible. And I said to him, why are you at work? And he's like, my dad, he's got 2 weeks they've given him now. And I looked at him, and I didn't want to sound rude, but I sort of said, "Why are you at work? You know, why don't you just go home and spend time with your dad?" I think it was his dad. And he said, "Well, one, I haven't got any holiday left."
Right.
Right? He was worried about having more time off work because he had a lot of time off.
Yeah.
So he was worried about his position at his job. And also, he said, "I can't afford more time off."
Right. Yeah.
So that always really, really stuck with me. And I never, ever wanted to be in a position where I was reliant upon, even if you own your own business, you know, you're still reliant upon serving a client, right? And bringing in that income. So, you know, that always struck a chord with me, and that was one of my motivations to sort of be independent.
Yeah.
So you stumbled into trading. You got into trading. You stumbled upon Akil and myself, and started educating yourself. What was your approach? You know, initial approach. Was there any?
Oh, there wasn't any. You know, I think I remember the first day I fired up a demo account. It was on a Friday afternoon. Who trades on a Friday afternoon? Euro dollar. I placed a short order.
It's Friday afternoon now, by the way. I'm not trading.
I placed a short order, and then within 15 minutes, I was up like 1,500 quid. And then I left the position open over the weekend, and I was mulling it over. I thought, this is a demo account. I've got no idea what these candlesticks mean, or the market of the movements that's going on. But I'm 1,500 quid in profit. How easy is this?
Yeah.
And of course, Monday morning came, and Sunday night open, spreads widened and got stopped out. And at that point, I very, very quickly realised that this wasn't an easy task at all.
I think you said you lost about 500 quid in.
Oh yeah, that was trying to trade non-farm payroll.
Trade non-farm payroll.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No education, a funded account, and I was that excited. Actually, I can remember I was that excited to fund a live account, and of course, with my broker, I needed to obviously prove who I was, so I had to go through that kind of rigmarole.
Yeah.
Stuck some money in, and within 10 seconds, it was gone.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can remember I had two screens. I had the charts up on one. I had Bloomberg on the other, and obviously the data payroll numbers came out. And the whole thing started to fire up, and then the spreads widened and knocked me out, and that was it. All gone.
I'm doing a shred for the summer, and if I could lose pounds on my body that quickly, it would be good. But
absolutely,
not so much my bank account. So why do you think that was then? Because we've gone from a guy who's pretty acute to business and how money works. He's got money he can afford to lose. Yeah. It hurts a little bit, but you're not being stupid.
Yeah.
You've sort of watched two education guys who are similar, telling you a similar message.
Yeah.
What do you think it is that draws us to want to fund an account so quickly?
For me personally, I'm the sort of person that jumps in with 2 feet and works things out at a later date, and I think that's how it works with the kind of my ethics of business. I'll work it out, I'll jump in, and of course I thought it would be the same with trading.
Yeah,
but little did I know.
No.
And I think it was this excitement. We have this romance about what trading is. It's exciting. Absolutely. It's you're buzzing 24/7
because of the way it's perceived by many other companies.
Yeah, absolutely. And because I was so naive, and it was the very start of my journey, I still had this. Well, I know I need to get educated, but I can't wait. I'm going to jump in with 2 feet anyway. And the consequence was I lost a load of money. And I didn't, I didn't have a clue about any strategies or back testing or anything. And at that point, I went back to demo and concentrated on my education.
Right. Okay. So as you go into your education a bit deeper, what do you really sort of take in as good advice? What made us different to your perception of trading?
Learning the language of the markets. I'll always remember that phrase. Looking left, structure leaves clues, reading raw price action. I think a lot of people jump on, oscillators and, different tools that allow you to potentially read, price action and market movements. But, fundamentally, you need to strip it all back, look at a very clean chart, and just read raw price action. And I think that is the number one thing that you need to do.
Yeah. And we talk about getting educated, but the problem is with that is there is so much information as well.
Absolutely.
And I think people think that the more you know about the markets, the better trader you are. But I think it actually paralyzes you from eventually taking trades. Because if you was to go on to a resource center like Baby Pips, for instance, which is a great resource center, the problem is there's everything about everything.
Yeah.
So if you learn everything about everything, you end up not being able to take a trade because there's a reason to take a trade and a reason not to take a trade in every situation.
Absolutely.
There's conflicting analysis. So for you, what was the biggest take home or benefit into your trading? Was that sort of light bulb moment, that aha moment where you think, wow, this is like a business, I know you mentioned about trying to bring trades into your life and sort of force trades into your daily routine, and that wasn't quite working out.
No, and again, this comes with the romance of trading. I wanted to be this day trader. I wanted to be in the charts and in the hustle and bustle and kind of placing however many trades a day. And of course, running a business, it just didn't work out like that. I was trading patterns on the lower time frames, so 15-minute charts. And don't get me wrong, I did all my back testing, and there was a positive expectancy. But of course, I couldn't focus the time on it. I'd place a trade, and then an email had come in or a phone call, and I'd be looking at the charts, talking to a client. And again, from a psychology point of view, it just started to blow my mind. And I was taking trades that I shouldn't have been in because I was rushing it. I could see price going up to a decompletion point of a back pattern, and just jump straight in without kind of looking further back to see if it was an area of structure that it would have worked at. But I think this comes down to just having that relaxed mindset of going into it and thinking of it like a business. Each currency pair has its own personalities. They take holidays at the same, different times, and a few you've got to make redundant at some point as well because they don't perform. But
get out.
Get going. But again, this is it's a continual learning process because I wanted to be this day trader to trade patterns on the 15-minute chart, and I couldn't make it work around my life, and it started to cause problems. So again, I had to take another step back and rethink what I was actually doing, where I wanted to be, and how I could make this work and design it around my life.
And the key to that is consistency.
Yeah.
If you haven't got consistency, you will not trade successfully.
Yeah.
The consistency is the key part. And you mentioned back testing. How important would you've obviously gone through the back testing phase. How important is that?
It's critical. It's absolutely critical. I mean, I used to spend Fridays and Saturday nights, and I still do, filling in back testing sheets and laptops, falling asleep on the sofa, all that kind of stuff. But it gives you the confidence that that your strategy works. And the other thing as well is that if you lose 3 or 4 trades in a row, you have to keep going. You have to keep putting that. As long as you're following your strategy and your trade plan, that 4th trade that you place, even if it's a loser, you're consistent.
What's likely to happen? The expected outcome, regardless. Yeah,
absolutely. And the other thing as well is a lot of people kind of they lose trades, but then they jump in on another trade. They increase their position size because they want to win back the money.
Revenge trade.
Yeah, exactly. And it spirals out of control from there.
Yeah. All right. So you adapted your trade plan around your lifestyle, based on advice. And how has that helped? What sort of trader are you now? Where are you now?
I trade off the daily charts. I look at the monthlies and then the weeklies, and then I'll put a position down on the daily. Sometimes I go down to the 4 hour, but nothing lower than the 1 hour. So I look for positions that I'd look to take on the daily, and then go down to the 4 hour for confluence, and then additional confluence on the 1 hour as well. But it's increased my strike rate. I probably take no more than 1 or 2 positions a week. But I've also built a system where I'll concentrate on one pair, and I'll look at the opportunities throughout that week, and I'll add discretionary positions into that one pair. So I'm not flitting around the charts looking for other currencies. I'll solely concentrate on one pair if I think it's got the legs to move in in the direction that I'm trading in.
Yeah. So really, really suited around your life. You've got a pre-market checklist.
Yes.
It's essentially a CTS system.
Yep.
Where you're looking at a number of different filters and confluence.
Yeah.
And it allows you to spend probably an hour on a Sunday night on the market open, maybe half hour every night after that, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But really allows you to remain calm in your analysis.
Absolutely.
And sort of know, you haven't got to be at front of your charts all the time.
And it allows me to trade more currency pairs as well. I'm looking at around 30 pairs in my portfolio as a maximum, but I can look at a chart and within 10-15 seconds I know that there's either a potential setup or there's nothing there, and then I'll move on to the next one.
Okay. So what are the 28 combinations of major pairs?
Around about, yeah. I'm looking at kind of gold and a couple of metals as well. But yeah, majorly the 28 worlds,
major pairs.
Major pairs, yeah.
Okay. And then, sort of, what are your plans for the future? You're running a business. You're still transitioning.
I'd love to
time out of that. Or?
2 years.
So you're passionate. 2-year plan. But you're passionate about the business as well.
Yeah.
You're passionate about what you do. So this is a perfect example of someone who wants to generate an income so that they can then free up some more time if they want to. Really focus on the good parts of what you're passionate about in your business.
Absolutely.
And then obviously leave a legacy. So what are your goals going forward?
The next 2 years I want to transition out of the business. I want to become a full-time trader. But like you said, I've built up a 17-year career in brand and marketing, and I don't want to just lose that.
No.
But at least it gives me the time and the flexibility to work with people I really want to work with and help, because that's a real passion of mine as well.
Yeah.
I certainly don't want to lose it. But obviously, trading has become a real passion for me. I'd love to help people to trade as well. And then, right back at the beginning, this is a motivation so I can pass this skill down to my kids. My daughter earned £35 on the euro dollar. And I want to teach her these skills.
Absolutely. That's the whole have and help. Going back to the beginning when you said, I want to leave something for my kids. That you can't go about it in any other order than we've just discussed.
No.
Like you have to actually first know what you want and why you want it, because so many people are out there just think that they want something because it's attractive, but they're sort of just fantasizing over someone else's priorities.
Absolutely.
And if you don't really want it, you're not going to sustain the back testing, the demo trading and learning. Yeah. And then if you don't have the right expectations, then you're gonna fail. I mean, you saw the video of the guy that I put out on Crypto King, Crypto Queen, and they've just got these warped expectations that they're gonna hit a pot of gold.
Yeah. It's amazing, and I think one of the biggest things that I've started to appreciate more is treat it like a business.
And you're a demonstration of that, because you tell us that you've gone through the learning process. You're now trading profitably, and now, just as you go to that sort of have and help stage, you are attracting investors to boost your account. And I believe you've got an investor sign up already.
Absolutely, yeah. We're in week 2. I had an investor approach me and hand over some cash, which was fantastic. A little bit nerve wracking, but so I'm
it brings a lot of new challenges.
It does. But week 1 we were up 2%. This week we're up 1%, which is brilliant. Just waiting for that drawdown. It's going to happen at some stage.
It will happen. But do you think you could go and comfortably manage someone's money if you didn't know in your own mind that you was profitable first?
Definitely not. No. I mean, that's just a bbig risk and a gamble.
And that will just be pressure that will end in tears.
In tears, absolutely. And you're fooling yourself as well, because you're giving this false expectation and false hopes to other people. And when money's involved, it's a serious game.
Yeah. So I see you've been putting some trades on social media. So you're trying to help others that way as well. You're trying to show them the reality. You're on Instagram saying, I'm just nothing on for the week. and you're inside the platform, and all the other traders in the platform are talking about trades they're in, and you're like, "Oh, I've got nothing," which is great. Which is great. It really shows how far a trader's come.
Yeah.
To not be worried about what other people are looking at.
Yeah.
That's something I look out for in people.
Yeah.
When they start worrying about other people or stop asking what that next thing I was talking about is, that's when I know that they're onto something.
It is funny because before the live room, I'm always in trying to chat with Gabrielle and some of the other guys, and they're always looking at who's in this trade, who's in that trade. Of course, I've got nothing to add at all. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in Aussie Swiss trend continuation on the daily
from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Anybody in?
No, and you've been putting some demonstration trades on your YouTube channel, which is great.
Yep.
So the link will be below the video for Tim's channels. So there's been a lot of questions about your style of trading, and I think it'd be cool if you show us. I know you was in took a trade last week, and you're currently in a trade. So if you want to show us that.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's get to it.
Excellent.
So this is a chart of the Aussie Kiwi. I always start my IPDE process on the monthly chart and work down to the daily or 4 hour where I place my trades. So on the monthly chart, we can see price being contained within this rising wedge pattern, and this has been forming since February of 2015. Moving down to the weekly chart, we can see prices respecting a key resistance level of 1.09300. And at the time, we had a rejection of that level and also a rejection of the 200 EMA. There was also a high probability of a right shoulder forming to complete a head and shoulders pattern too. Moving down to the daily, we can see that price had started to stall at this resistance level. And if we move down to the 4 hour, we can see this in more detail. We've also got a bearish MACD divergence indicating that lower prices may be starting to form. So with this high test rejection, I placed a sell limit to trigger me in the trade if price started to fall. We can see on the Monday we had a very strong bearish rejection, and that continued all the way down. So my targets for this trade were a retest of the 50 EMA, and we hit that.